Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And obviously, man, today we got a hell of a show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, we're trying to hit our goal of 200,000 subs by the end of this month. We'll appreciate it if you guys supported us and help us do that. Obviously, if you think the content is good enough. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So yesterday was a pretty big game in the NBA. But going into that game between the Denver Nuggets and what's the name of this team? The Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves, there was a lot of discussion in the sports media landscape, which was centered on, is Anthony Edwards the new Michael Jordan? This was the conversation that was permeating throughout the United States and various places around the world in terms of sports. And people were saying this. Oh, he reminds me of Michael Jordan. He reminds me of Michael Jordan. And it goes to show you just how desperate the NBA is in terms of finding another Michael Jordan. So as a Jordan fan and as a Kobe Bryant fan, as people were saying this, I was watching, I was listening, and I was observing. I was saying to myself, you got to show me. You got to show me. Because you're talking about two of the greatest players to ever play the sport, where a lot of people have them in their top two. Those Kobe and Jordan, they were that elite. So for a guy to come along and for you to start comparing them to him, he got to be really special. And he was doing some pretty special things in the playoffs, doing some things that a young Kobe was doing, which goes to show you how elite Kobe was. And people were saying that, and I'm watching, I'm listening, I'm watching him play. He plays with a certain level of attitude. He can score. He's athletic. He's dynamic. But he also plays on the other side of the ball. He plays defense, which is something that's synonymous with a Kobe and a Jordan, who both of them made 9 all-first defensive teams. Kobe made 12 overall, and Michael Jordan won a defensive player of the year. Kobe is tied for the most selections for defensive teams for guard. Him, Gary Payton. Like, that's the level defender Kobe Bryant was. So I'm watching this, and I'm saying to myself, do I see it? Do I see it? Moments here, moments there, but I wasn't 100% convinced. Then yesterday's game happened. But prior to the game, they were discussing it on inside the NBA on TNT. And they were having a back and forth between Charles Barkley and the rest of the panel. In this case, Shaq, Kenny Smith, Ernie Johnson. And then it came the point where Charles Barkley had to speak. And then Charles Barkley says something very interesting. He goes, y'all need to chill out with all of these Michael Jordan, Anthony Edwards comparisons. It's not really close. And Shaq was like, really? And they had this back and forth that we want to get into. But before we even get into that, this video is brought to you by sponsor PrizePicks, which is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. PrizePicks is really simple. Instead of just selecting a team, you just select 2 or more players, pick more or less their projected stats, and then you place your entry. For example, this week, I'm selecting 2 entries. Stephen Curry for more than 25 points, and then I got Anthony Davis for more than 2 blocks, and Damian Lillard for more than 4 3-pointers made. PrizePicks is also the only daily sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So for example, if you have a player who gets injured in the first half and doesn't return to the second half, that player gets automatically rebooted. What I also love about PrizePicks is that it offers weekly promotions like Taco Tuesdays. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. That's go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is we're going to play exactly what Charles Barkley had to say about this comparison, and we're going to come back and really get into this show. Take a listen to what he had to say here.
Who people been, and please, America, please stop the Michael Jordan stuff. This guy's had one good playoff run, and he's a great, I think he's going to be a great player. He's a really nice kid. We root for him. We want him to be.
Is he close?
No, hell no. Close to who? Close to who? They both black.
You're not close to Mike?
He's not close to Michael Jordan.
At 23?
Michael Jordan was getting, remember he was scoring like.
I'm just asking. At 23,
hey,
23
I
Mike,
love
at 23
Edwards.
I'm just
do
asking.
not do that. You know what,
nice.
honestly, and this is not disrespectful.
He's nice.
I'm not disrespectful. He is very nice. But his body
close.
type.
and the way he plays, to me, reminds me more of D. Wade, young D. Wade, when he was carrying that team, when he had Lamar Odom, and he was going through the playoffs for the first time. It reminds me of that.
All I want to say is, man,
He's
why
close.
can't we just let people do their thing and watch them? Why do we have to say, well, he's like, I'm not telling you, I'm talking about like,
you know
he's
why?
the next Michael Jordan.
No, because you know why? Because y'all paved the way for us. That's why.
So you heard what Charles Barkley had to say. He's like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. He's only won one playoff series. Now, Shaq then said, oh, what about when they were 22 years old? So I want us to look at both of these players at the age of 22. And what were they doing? Anthony Edwards did go to college. I think he went to college for 1 year. I think Jordan, on the other hand, he went to North Carolina, and I think he spent 3 years in college. So Jordan gets into the NBA at the age of 22. And I want to look at both of these guys at the age of 22, because I think Anthony Edwards got into the NBA around 20 or 19 or something like that. So let's look at them now, right? Or now, at the same age, 22, 23, although Anthony Edwards right now is 22, yeah. So let's look at what Anthony Edwards was doing at the age of 22. At 22, as a rookie, at 22, which is this year, he averaged 25.9 points per game, 0.5 in blocks, 1.3 in steals, 5.1 assists per game, which is great, 5.4 rebounds a game. He was an 83.6% free throw shooter, a 35% three-point shooter, and a 46% shooter from the field, right? Now, I want to get into something quickly because Anthony Edwards talked about the fact about how he shoots more threes. It's important that we mention that Jordan, well, if you look at Anthony Edwards this season, three-point shot attempts, he attempted 532. If I go back to Michael Jordan and I pull up his stats, I just want to quickly see how many threes Jordan attempted, because that number is very, very deceptive, because obviously one is going to excel at something that you do more, that you practice more. And I don't believe Jordan attempted that many threes. So I can't find the number right now, but I know Jordan attempted, well, I can tell you in terms of, a ratio. He attempted when he was 22, he attempted 0.6 threes per game. And he made 0.1. Anthony Edwards, on the other hand, he attempts more threes per game. This season, he attempted 6.7 threes per game while making 2.4. Now, Jordan, if I look at his rookie or that season or whatever it was, so that year would be 1984, 1985. Michael Jordan that season attempted 52 threes, and he made 9. So Jordan obviously was not even attempting a 3 per game. So I'm going to throw that out and say that's not a valid point to make that I'm a better 3-point shooter. Jordan just didn't shoot. So those were his numbers. What was Michael Jordan doing at that age? At the age of 22, he came into the NBA. He scored 28.2 points per game. He on 51.5% shooting, 17% shooting from the 3 while making 0.6, attempting 0.1, and an 84% free throw shooter, getting you 6.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists a game. So Jordan was better than Anthony Edwards across the board as a rookie, across the board. Now, Michael Jordan, his first year, his first year in the NBA, he also won the Rookie of the Year of that season. He won the Rookie of the Year that season, right? So there is no comparison, especially if you start going forward. If you start moving the age forward, there is no real comparison whatsoever. Not in accomplishments, not in production. It's not even close. Now, if you're telling me in the next few years, We're going to see Anthony Edwards have a season where he scores 37 points per game, where he has a season where he scores 35 points per game, where he's going to run off 10 scoring titles or at least 5 scoring titles in a row, make multiple all-first defensive teams, and most importantly, start winning championships. Then you got me. But there's only been one player that did that, and very few that came close. So I think Charles Barkley is right to smack down that comparison. I just think that people get hype. I think people get hyped so much that they'll see he this, he that, he this, he that. Kendrick Perkins was calling Kawhi Leonard Kawhi Jordan, but at least Kawhi that year with the Raptors, he won the championship. He went through the gauntlet, right? He was guarding players like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, he went through the process and then won the ring, right? So I think Jordan's trajectory was just something out of this world. Now, if you believe that he has that same trajectory, we shall see. Some people are saying he should be compared more to Dwayne Wade. I think that's more apropos, especially for their size. But Jordan was a different thing. Kobe was a totally different thing. So these are my thoughts. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about our analysis? What do you think about what Charles Barkley had to say? And the question to you guys is, do you think Anthony Edwards is a good comparison to Jordan, or should be compared to Jordan, or reminds you of Jordan? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments. We'll catch you on the next show. Peace.